The D23 Game Showcase is starting in just a few minutes, but stay tuned after for IGN's post-show where we've got developers in studio for exclusive interviews about upcoming Marvel and Disney games. So be sure to stick around because the fun starts in this many minutes. D23 game showcase is starting in just a few minutes, but stay tuned after for IGN's post show where we've got developers in studio for exclusive interviews about upcoming Marvel and Disney games. So be sure to stick around because the fun starts in this many minutes. D23 Game Showcase is starting in just a few minutes, but stay tuned after for IGN's post-show where we've got developers in studio for exclusive interviews about upcoming Marvel and Disney games. So be sure to stick around because the fun starts in this many minutes. The D23 Game Showcase is starting in just a few minutes, but stay tuned after for IGN's post-show where we've got developers in studio for exclusive interviews about upcoming Marvel and Disney games. So be sure to stick around because the fun starts in this many minutes. The D23 Game Showcase is starting in just a few minutes, but stay tuned after for IGN's post-show where we've got developers in studio for exclusive interviews about upcoming Marvel and Disney games. So be sure to stick around because the fun starts in this many minutes. D23 Game Showcase is starting in just a few minutes, but stay tuned after for IGN's post-show where we've got developers in studio for exclusive interviews about upcoming Marvel and Disney games. So be sure to stick around because the fun starts in this many minutes. The D23 game showcase is starting in just a few minutes, but stay tuned after for IGN's post-show where we've got developers in studio for exclusive interviews about upcoming Marvel and Disney games. So be sure to stick around because the fun starts in this many minutes. D23 Game Showcase is starting in just a few minutes, but stay tuned after for IGN's post-show where we've got developers in studio for exclusive interviews about upcoming Marvel and Disney games. So be sure to stick around because the fun starts in this many minutes. The D23 Game Showcase is starting in just a few minutes, but stay tuned after for IGN's post-show where we've got developers in studio for exclusive interviews about upcoming Marvel and Disney games. So be sure to stick around because the fun starts in this many minutes. D23 game showcase is starting in just a few minutes, but stay tuned after for IGN's post-show where we've got developers in studio for exclusive interviews about upcoming Marvel and Disney games. So be sure to stick around because the fun starts in this many minutes. D23 Game Showcase is starting in just a few minutes, but stay tuned after for IGN's post-show where we've got developers in studio for exclusive interviews about upcoming Marvel and Disney games. So be sure to stick around because the fun starts in this many minutes. The D23 Game Showcase is starting in just a few minutes, but stay tuned after for IGN's post-show where we've got developers in studio for exclusive interviews about upcoming Marvel and Disney games. So be sure to stick around because the fun starts in this many minutes. The D23 Game Showcase is starting in just a few minutes, but stay tuned after for IGN's post-show where we've got developers in studio for exclusive interviews about upcoming Marvel and Disney games. So be sure to stick around because the fun starts in this many minutes. The D23 Game Showcase is starting in just a few minutes, but stay tuned after for IGN's post-show where we've got developers in studio for exclusive interviews about upcoming Marvel and Disney games. So be sure to stick around because the fun starts in this many minutes. The D23 Game Showcase is starting in just a few minutes, but stay tuned after for IGN's post-show where we've got developers in studio for exclusive interviews about upcoming Marvel and Disney games. So be sure to stick around because the fun starts in this many minutes. The D23 game showcase is starting in just a few minutes, but stay tuned after for IGN's post-show where we've got developers in studio for exclusive interviews about upcoming Marvel and Disney games. So be sure to stick around because the fun starts in this many minutes. The D23 Game Showcase is starting in just a few minutes, but stay tuned after for IGN's post-show where we've got developers in studio for exclusive interviews about upcoming Marvel and Disney games. So be sure to stick around because the fun starts in this many minutes. The D23 Game Showcase is starting in just a few minutes, but stay tuned after for IGN's post-show where we've got developers in studio for exclusive interviews about upcoming Marvel and Disney games. So be sure to stick around because the fun starts in this many minutes. The D23 Game Showcase is starting in just a few minutes, but stay tuned after for IGN's post-show where we've got developers in studio for exclusive interviews about upcoming Marvel and Disney games. So be sure to stick around because the fun starts in this many minutes. The D23 Game Showcase is starting in just a few minutes, but stay tuned after for IGN's post-show where we've got developers in studio for exclusive interviews about upcoming Marvel and Disney games. So be sure to stick around because the fun starts in this many minutes.
Remember, the Force will be with you, always.
Taking my attack run now.
Yo, what's up? Tron Identity. What a way to start the show. Welcome to the first ever Disney and Marvel Games Showcase. I'm your host, Blessing Adeoye Jr., and today I'll be your NPC guide as you quest through game announcements from Disney, Pixar, Marvel, Lucasfilm, and 20th Century. Now, if you want to keep up to date with Bithell Games' first adventure in the expanded Tron universe and their upcoming collaborations with Disney Games, be sure to follow their socials. In fact, you should probably drop a follow on all the Disney Games socials for more info on today's world premieres, like this one right here.
Minnie, Donald, Goofy, we bid you welcome to the world of Monoth!
Tell us what you need, Toku.
Our entire world is in danger. You must travel to the 3 biomes of Monoth and retrieve the Gloves of Knowledge.
If others are in need, we should help them.
Don't you worry, Toku. We'll do it.
Hang on! The books are gone!
It's okay. We'll explain.
TBD! TBD! TBD!
Wait, are those placeholder words or the actual words?
Yes.
That was awesome. I got dibs on Goofy, y'all. Disney Illusion Island debuts exclusively on the Nintendo Switch system, and whether you're looking to run solo or couch co-op with up to 3 friends as the Fab Four, you can put it on your wish list today. Now, if you've been wishing for more info on Marvel's Midnight Suns, I've got you. In this RPG from the tactical geniuses at Firaxis Games, you play as the Hunter, the first customizable original hero in a Marvel game. Lead Blade, Magic, Ghost Rider, Nico Minoru, and more in a fight against Lilith, Mother of Demons, plus the Elder God Cthon, with revolutionary card-based tactics featured in this all-new gameplay trailer. You heard what the trailer said. Marvel's Midnight Suns is coming out this year on December 2nd for Windows PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series X and S. And it's available to pre-order today. But that's not all. Right now, we have a sneak peek of the intro for the set of new prequel shorts that gives a never-before-seen preview of the heroes that you'll be playing as. Yeah, that looks like it's gonna be dope. Be sure to follow at Marvel Games and the Midnight Sun's social channels for more information. And now, here's some exciting news about a Marvel game you can play today. Now listen, I know you came here for the trailers and DLC announcements and big reveals, and not me, but I'm cool with that because I want to see what's next too. So let's get to it.
Oh, hi there. You look like someone who's ready to join me on a wild ride through the multiverse. What's that? You have plans right now? Well, cancel them. Welcome to Marvel Snap. You can access it from anywhere. Your house, your workplace, bathroom at your workplace. Let's be honest, most likely the bathroom, am I right?
It's clobbering time!
And it's as easy to play as solitaire. Actually easier. I don't think I've ever won a game of solitaire. But here's the twist. These cards are superpowered. Like the entire canon of Marvel characters kind of superpowered.
Galactus.
Maybe you, like me, would love to see Shang-Chi kick Thanos' evil purple butt. Or you've always wondered what the Guardians of the Galaxy would look like in 8-bit mode. Well, wonder no more.
Got him!
It's easy to pick up and so much fun to master. In other words, less time than a bagel takes to toast. Who doesn't have a bagel's worth of time? So don't wait to explore a multiverse of possibilities.
Oh, snap!
Marvel Snap! It's time to make your move. The game launches on October 18th. Pre-register now at marvelsnap.com.
Yeah, I can get with that. Don't forget to set a reminder to download Marvel Snap on your Android and iOS devices on October 18th. And be sure to stick around here for more Marvel reveals later in the showcase. But first, next year, gamers are getting dropped into the middle of a xenomorph outbreak in the tactical squad-based action of Aliens: Dark Descent. In this look at gameplay, take your squad of Marines on missions as you infiltrate and investigate the xenomorph outbreak. Develop your tactics, assemble your colonial Marines, and take on the xenomorph hordes in Aliens: Dark Descent next year on consoles and PC. But first, let's talk about Avatar and revisit Pandora. In Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora, you'll be immersed in the beauty and danger of the alien moon and experience a living and reactive world firsthand as a Na'vi. You'll explore new environments and interact with all new creatures, plants, and characters in the never-before-seen Western frontier, fighting against the RDA in a brand new standalone story for PC and next-gen consoles. Now from Pandora to a galaxy far, far away. LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga destroyed sales records like Rebels taking out Death Stars. If you haven't picked it up yet, or you've already blown up all the Death Stars too, here's another reason to jump into the Skywalker Saga. New characters including Cassian Andor, Reva, Captain Rex, and more are coming to LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga soon. Take on even more stormtroopers, wield a lightsaber, or the Force, party your way through the galaxy, and get ready to expand your character collection. The Galactic Edition comes out this holiday season with 13 character packs, including 6 all-new ones adding some of your favorite characters. Now, for those who don't know, Lucasfilm Games is known for more than just Star Wars titles. Today, the voice of Guybrush Threepwood, Dominic Armato, is here to share a look at the upcoming Return to Monkey Island.
Hello, fellow pirates! My name is Dominic Armato, the voice of Guybrush Threepwood. Don't be fooled by the name. The Monkey Island Adventure series is about pirates, not monkeys. It's been a part of the Lucasfilm family of games for more than 30 years, beginning in 1990 with The Secret of Monkey Island.
I want to be a pirate.
Through the years, each game has been carefully crafted to feature the humor, clever puzzles, and sense of adventure that made Monkey Island such an iconic video game series. Plus, we've got some outstanding voice acting, a wonderful new musical score, and a gorgeous illustrated art style. We've also put together an in-game scrapbook, in which Guybrush Threepwood details his adventures and important moments from previous games. It's a great way to get caught up on what's happened so far, or a fun refresher if you already know the whole story. We can't wait for you to discover the secrets hidden in Return to Monkey Island. Play it on Nintendo Switch or PC on September 19th.
You can strap on an eye patch and celebrate Talk Like a Pirate Day on September 19th by picking up Return to Monkey Island. Lucasfilm Games isn't the only team bringing the nostalgia vibes today. Over the last few years, Disney Games has revived classics like Aladdin, The Jungle Book, and The Lion King, and now they're teaming up with Empty Clip to bring back another classic, Gargoyles Remastered. A fan favorite that's sure to have you screaming like a Viking yeeted by Goliath. Yep, that's the scream. And while you'll have to wait to climb back into the world of Gargoyles Remastered, you can grab your phone and start unlocking heroes in this Disney and Pixar action RPG right now.
When the call goes out for heroes, you never know who will answer. Sometimes the best hero is a villain. Someone a little sinister who will get the job done and doesn't care who they have to push aside. Means forging devious alliances to fulfill their schemes. After all, there is strength in numbers, especially when that number is number one.
I'd suggest downloading Disney Mirrorverse and leveling up your teams, like now, if you're hoping to take on Hades and the other villains dropping this October. All right, let's get into our next reveal. I wonder how many miles per screen Mike Wazowski's pulling. I guess we'll all find out together when Disney Speedstorm drops on PC and console. And now, let's take a stroll through an idyllic Disney neighborhood.
Hey there!
Here you are.
Thanks! Roger that.
If you want to help out some of your favorite Disney and Pixar friends in Disney Dreamlight Valley right now, good news, you can. With Xbox Game Pass or by grabbing the Founders Pack on your PC or just about every console you own. Now, for those who are looking for an action-packed MMORPG shooter that you can play in the palm of your hand, look no further than Avatar Reckoning. Soon, you'll be able to battle for the future of Pandora on your phone, but for now, we've got Jared Yeager, an executive producer at Walt Disney Games, here to tell you more.
Hey everyone! I'm excited to give you a sneak peek at the upcoming Avatar Reckoning. In this MMORPG shooter, you'll return to the moon of Pandora to find your own way in the aftermath of the Battle of the Hallelujah Mountains. As you begin your adventure, you'll customize your own Avatar warrior. You'll also be able to collect and customize a range of weapons to prepare you for your journey. As you set out across single-player missions, you'll discover new regions as you unravel a mysterious story, encountering new clans and defending yourself from the perils of Pandora, from creatures to the RDA forces. You'll also be able to play both with and against others in online multiplayer. Team up in instances to battle with other players trying to survive against powerful enemies, or battle in player versus player mode, where you'll team up against other players across a variety of maps. You'll be able to experience all of this and more when Avatar Reckoning hits your mobile device soon.
And now, another world premiere.
We'll meet again. Don't know where, don't know when, but I know we'll meet again some sunny day. Keep smiling through, just like you always do, till the blue skies drive the dark clouds far away.
Oh, let's freaking go. I know you're probably hopping onto Reddit to break down all those Easter eggs, but I recommend you don't tab away just yet, because there's another world premiere from Marvel Games coming your way right now. And there it is, the first ever Disney and Marvel Games showcase. I hope you had as much fun as I did. I'm Blessing Adeoye Jr. Thanks for joining us. It's been our pleasure to serve you.
What is your next move?
Yes.
What's up, guys? I'm Nars, and welcome to IGN's coverage of the 2022 Disney and Marvel Game Showcase. Coming up, we'll have the devs from some of the games you just saw: Tron, Disney Dreamlight Valley, and we have a first look at Mickey's and Friends' new multiplayer, Disney Illusion Island. Now let's take another look at the trailer.
Mickey, Minnie, Donald, Goofy, we bid you welcome to the world of Monoth!
Tell us what you need, Toku.
Our entire world is in danger. You must travel to the 3 biomes of Monoth and retrieve the Gloves of Knowledge.
If others are in need, we should help them.
Don't you worry, Toku. We'll do it.
Hang on! The books are gone!
It's okay. We'll explain.
TBD! TBD! TBD!
Wait, are those placeholder words or the actual words?
Yes.
Joining me now in studio, we have AJ Grant Scrunton, CEO and co-founder of Delilah, and Kelsey Wong, producer of Disney and Pixar games. Thank you so much, AJ. Kelsey, welcome.
Thank you very much for having us.
Now let's talk Mickey and Friends. I would assume this is the first Mickey and Friends video game that's been ported. So talk to me about what the gang is doing on Illusion Island, AJ.
Yeah, it's very exciting for us. So the Disney Illusion Island is a 1-to-4 player cooperative 2D adventure platformer where Mickey and Friends are on a brand new world they've never explored before, and players will get to embrace with the characters, unlock new abilities to explore new areas of the island, and it's really just a game about having fun.
Yeah, and I feel like this is also pretty interesting because it is the first Mickey and Friends game. Kelsey, can you talk to us about how this came about and why this particular option?
So I think we've really been inspired by sort of the legacy of the Mickey and Friends 2D cartoons over many years, and we really just wanted to make a game that sort of has that mischievousness, the rebelliousness, the sort of spirit of fun and possibility that we've seen over the cartoons over the years, and put into a game that felt really authentic and fun. So it's really nice to have the opportunity to basically be a playable character and play as Mickey, Minnie, Donald, Goofy, whoever's your favorite character, and just have that opportunity to be that character in this new world of Monoth.
Now tell me a little bit about the inhabitants of Illusion Island. Obviously they're kind of like funny, they're quirky, they have like little witty lines. Talk to us about who they are and how are they going to be contributing to the adventure for the gang?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, one of the most awesome things about this whole experience was getting to create a whole new world of characters. I mean, there's not many chances you get to say you've made a brand new set of characters that Mickey and Friends are going to talk to. So yeah, the inhabitants of Monoth are this fantastic group of quirky people. We've got everything on there from kind of these wacky inventors to kind of, you'll come across quirky smugglers and bookshop owners. But the big thing throughout the whole game is like personality and humour. So, we've got a fantastic voice cast in the big animated cutscenes, including the authentic Mickey, Minnie, Donald and Goofy voices. And then on top of that, we've got some fantastic new voices being given to these characters. It's just this wonderful world which we hope players just want to keep exploring and meeting all the wonderful inhabitants.
Absolutely. Now I'm going to ask you, Kelsey, are we going to see any other Disney classic icons come into the Mickey and Friends game?
I think for this one we're just keeping to the Fab Four, but Who knows?
Ooh, awesome. Now, speaking of uniqueness, each of the characters have a unique ability and skills. How are they going to have to work together to be able to adventure through Illusion Island?
Definitely. So the whole thing of the game is that we want everyone on a level playing field. So kind of each character has their own unique items, but they all have the ability to kind of match each other's skill set. So no player will ever get left behind. There'll be no moments where one player gets to enjoy this section of gameplay and everyone has to watch. The idea is that everyone can work together and get through and play all the game. And then on top of that, we have a set of mechanics very focused around kind of multiplayer and working together.
Speaking of multiplayer, is it going to be couch co-op multiplayer or online co-op multiplayer?
So it's couch co-op only. Like for us, it really embodies Mickey and Friends. Like when we're thinking about this whole friendship and going on an adventure together, you know, Delilah and Disney love this idea of like bringing families together on the sofa and sitting down and playing and bringing friends together. So yes, couch co-op experience.
You want to expand on that, Kelsey?
I think you basically covered most of it, but I think what's really great about like sitting with your friends is that, you know, you can basically look at them and say, hey, can you help me with here? You know, you don't have to have, you know, sort of what we've been doing over the pandemic, which is a lot of online play. So the couch co-op is great. They have some great multiplayer features. One of my favorite is hugs that you can give to each other. So it'll be a really great feature for you guys to try out. It's adorable. There's also little things that you can do to help each other advance forward. So I think it's a really great thing. It's better together.
Now, we didn't get to see any bosses or anything like that, but there are going to be grand bosses that they will battle. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I don't want to give too many spoilers, of course, especially after calling Kelsey out beforehand. Yeah, we've got some really great boss fights. For us, kind of, we wanted to try and take like a different approach to this. Like, this isn't necessarily a big combat engagement. It's really about utilising the skills and abilities you've gained through the game and kind of putting a little flip on them for how you engage with the bosses. So I don't want to give numbers or anything, but yeah, there's some really, really fun boss engagements you'll have.
Awesome. And the gang has to acquire, I believe it's like the good of knowledge items or collect them as well. What are these like knowledge items that they're going to have to adventure and kind of collect in the game?
Do you want to talk a little bit?
Tomes?
Tomes? Do you want to talk?
So they're tomes, which are like powerful books. Basically, they were what was sort of supporting the island, and so they've been stolen as part of the storyline. They've been taken. So part of the journey that Mickey and friends are doing is that they're off to rescue the world of Monoth, but basically finding these tomes and recovering them. So that's a little bit of, I think, as much as you can
As much as you can get. That's totally fun. I totally love it. Will we get to meet any other kind of like iconic characters in Illusion Island, or are there going to be other characters besides the inhabitant that we get to be introduced to?
It's really about kind of, the Fab Four are kind of the iconic Mickey and Friends characters that you'll see in Disney characters, but I really feel like we've created this brand new cast of characters that people grow to love. We're over the moon with them. We even had moments where there are characters we wrote initially 1 or 2 lines for, and we fell so in love with them that we wrote some more scripts just so we could include them more. So yeah, it's really kind of about the new cast of characters you'll meet on your adventure.
Yeah. Awesome. And my last question for you guys, what was the vision for this partnership between Delilah and Pixar Disney? Like, what were you hoping to do? Are we going to probably see more Mickey and Friends come out of the studio, or are you kind of just wanting to see what happens with this now?
Me, you.
I think so far, well, I'll speak for my experience. I think the partnership with Delilah has been great. They've been so collaborative and just, it's been such an amazing experience. I think the art style that's come through, like the passion comes through. I think the fun and humor comes through. Like I think you can see in the trailer a little bit. So I hope that there's more in the future. I think it's really, really great so far. And so definitely look forward to more.
Yeah, we've loved it. It's been fantastic. It has been, not to keep using the word collaboration, but it has been this wonderful collaborative experience. We've just felt so supported. The big thing we keep saying with the team is how many times in your life do you get to create a new Mickey and Friends world, a new Mickey and Friends experience, and Disney have really let us kind of go with our vision, go with kind of what we want to achieve. As for the future, who knows, but what I can tell you is I've absolutely loved this project. I've absolutely loved working with Disney on it.
Thanks so much to AJ and Kelsey for joining us. But what's your take on Illusion Island? You know how this works. Let us know down in the comments. And don't forget to follow and subscribe to IGN wherever you like to watch.
Hey everybody, Akeem Lawanson here, and up next is Tron Identity. Now joining us right now to tell us more about it is creative director Mike Bithell and producer over at Disney Pixar Games, Heidi Vargas. Mike, Heidi, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
It's great to be here.
Now, I'm so glad to have you all here because admittedly what we saw of Tron Identity wasn't much. It was, in fact, a teaser. So I want you all to kind of break down what the identity is of Tron Identity. First off, we saw the Identity disc. And, of course, anyone that's a Tron fan knows how important that is in the Tron universe. It's used as a combat weapon. So what more can you tell us about Tron Identity based on what we saw?
Yeah, so it is definitely a combat weapon. I think the other side of it that we're exploring in this game, and I think is really interesting, is the identity nature of it. So this is a disc. Every program in the grid has their own disc. It stores their memories, their experiences, who they are. And we basically cast you as a detective in that world who's both interacting with the programs but also interacting with their discs and kind of working out what makes them tick, trying to figure out what's happened in this world. It's a kind of a unique way of telling a detective story in a sci-fi setting.
So based on that then, where would you say this story kind of like takes place within the overall timeline?
You want a deep lore? You want to go? You want to go into
you
the
already
full
know, of course.
Let's do it. So yeah, it's so specifically for r/Tron. I'll do the lore dump. But basically, yeah, it's if you're a fan of Tron, you know that there were the ISOs, who were these programs that emerged, who weren't created directly by Flynn, but kind of came about. And there were these sentient programs, this next evolution. And in the events of Tron Legacy and Tron Uprising, they are persecuted by Clue, the villain. And our game basically takes place in a world where Flynn created an arc, where Flynn created a second grid for them to go to, promising that he'd come back. As we know from Legacy, though, he didn't. And Tron fans will also know that time moves much, much faster in that world. So we enter it hundreds, thousands of years after those events. What's the society and the culture that's evolved on that grid? And just an amazing kind of sci-fi storytelling opportunity, which we've been able to do thanks to the amazing kind of collaboration with Disney, who've just kind of allowed us to create this story, tell this story in this new world, and kind of expand on that amazing, rich heritage that Tron has, which has been amazing.
Yeah, no, I'm not sure how much you can actually reveal today, but I'm kind of curious, will we be seeing like any returning characters from the Tron lore? Obviously, there's going to be new characters. What can you tell us about some of the characters we'll see throughout the game?
Well, that's the cool opportunity here, is because this is set in this world where time's passed, it's not so much that the characters you've seen in the current Tron stories are going to be present, but in this world, they're legends. They've created the backbone of this culture and society. So you're running into programs who've elevated the characters from previous stories to godlike status. You're running into characters who hate those characters. You're running around a world that's been entirely shaped by these stories beforehand. And that's where that richness and depth can come from. And we have this amazing cast of characters. Who have we got that we can talk about? Proxy. Proxy's awesome.
Proxy and Ada, they're very, very awesome, strong, powerful female characters, which I'm really excited to introduce. We've had other characters in the Tron franchise there she is. Yeah, she's awesome. We're just really excited to introduce these characters. It's a really diverse cast, and we're just happy to introduce the new story and the new characters to new fans.
Yeah, I'm digging the vibe. Right now we're just seeing an image of Proxy. I dig her overall aesthetic. What can you tell us about her role in Tron Identity? What is her identity?
So Proxy is one of several programs that have kind of started to live outside of the kind of established, with previous Tron stories, you'll know these are very kind of hierarchical structured worlds. So this is a character who's kind of starting to create her own kind of culture off to the side.
She's a rebel.
And she's here because she's heard about the power that's been unleashed via the events that you're uncovering. So you come into this world knowing that there's been a theft. A vault's been broken into, and she's one of the many characters who shows up looking to see what's going on and looking to see if there's an opportunity for her and her people to kind of benefit from that.
Now, I'm taking a look at some of the screenshots here. I'm kind of curious about the overall gameplay mechanics. Like, is this going to play out more along the lines as like a Actually, I'll let you tell me based on this, because I don't want to. Again, we didn't see much, so I want you to tell me like how will the overall story play out? Like, what's the gameplay like, or what are we gonna have like action platform elements, or what type of elements will we see?
So it's kind of hybrid. It's a game, a puzzle game where you can see this screen here. You're actually unpicking and picking apart an identity disc, which is something you see in Tron Legacy, and then that's interspersed with conversations, so kind of a visual novel. So those two things, people who've played Solitaire Conspiracy and Subsurface Circular from us will kind of start to recognize things they maybe remember from those games. We've kind of been able to pull that together. We kind of came to Disney talking about a puzzle game, and I think what was great about you and your team was you went to the story immediately and said you wanted to tell a great story.
Yeah, at Disney we consider ourselves storytellers, and we always want to work with the best teams, and Mike and his team have really created such a strong and powerful story that is really going to drive Tron Identity. Hopefully, take players to a new place and introduce a new side of Tron that we haven't seen before.
Now, speaking of the player, what role will we take on? Like, are we taking on an established character, maybe a character that we create, or what type of character are we taking on?
You'll be playing as Query, and he is hired to investigate the mysteries, right, that have occurred in this setting, the repository. So
he's a detective, but it's actually a really good example of the way that this kind of links to the story you've seen before. Is he's called a DOT, which is a disciple of Tron. So he's a detective who has come up in this history of the Tron character that people know and love, and how that's influenced this world, and how he reacts to that role, and whether that role makes sense for him in this world. So there's a lot of kind of space for us to play with those legacy characters and kind of do our own thing with them as well.
Yeah. No, there's also been, like, you both know this, I'm sure. There's been quite a few Tron video games in the past. I'm kind of curious what sets this one apart from what we've seen in other Tron video games.
I think it's been a lot because I think there is just an amazing opportunity with video games. Like, obviously, this is a world, we talk a lot on the team that this is a world created literally by a game designer, and that just kind of frees you up to do a lot of really interesting stuff and to kind of have a lot of cool mechanical quirks to it. So I think it definitely lends itself to games. In terms of what's different, I think here, obviously, the focus on story, the focus on character, and the focus on that investigative aspect, I think kind of sets it aside. It's maybe not the game people immediately expect from a Tron game, because we are kind of playing with those things. But I think it's hopefully a really cool introduction to this world, and a really cool way of kind of stepping into that space.
Yeah, we're really focused on sort of building this world and making sure that players are introduced to these new characters, and they're really, I think they're really gonna love it. So, yeah.
When can we expect to see more from Tron Identity? I mean, like, just talking to you two, I think it's like I'm excited for it from some of the elements that you all spoke to, and of course seeing more of these original characters that you all created specifically for this universe. So I want to know, when can we see more?
Very soon.
Very soon? Okay.
You'll notice I looked immediately. My producer says very soon, so that's why it's going to come.
Look, I totally get it. I wasn't honestly, I wasn't expecting you to give us that exclusive, but I was, I gotta push for it every now and then.
I respect it. I respect it.
Now, are there like similarities between Tron Identity and other Bithell games, such as Thomas Was Alone or John Wick Hex?
I think yeah, there's definitely a thread between our games of story. Obviously, we've said that, but I think, and weirdly, Thomas Was Alone kind of is a bit Tron-like in that it is about characters kind of inside a computer and kind of how those characters emerge and become themselves. I think it's, for us, it really does come down to us, and this is where I think it's similar to John Wick, where John Wick specifically was an opportunity to learn from the people who made those movies and kind of get all of that through the collaboration. I think Disney, it's a similar thing. When we're picking the projects we want to work on, as a team, we're looking for collaborations where we can learn, where we can pick up skills, where we can work with people that we wouldn't get to work with before. It's about making something that's more than the sum of the parts. We have done kind of sci-fi stories, we've even done detective stories before, but I think what this offers as an opportunity is to bring in all of this amazing story that's in the franchise, but also the expertise of Heidi and her team. You know, the amazing artists and writers and designers and audio guys and everything, just amazingly talented, skilled people who we can kind of collaborate with and learn from.
Yeah, and for us, like Bissell, they're experts and they're just fans of Tron in general. We're both fans, right? Both of our teams, we work really well together, and it's just such a collaborative and creative process, and it's just been really fun just trying to make the best game possible.
I'm going to be honest, like one of the highlights, obviously we're announcing this game, it's all very exciting, but the highlight for me is that I get to afterwards go back and I get to move all of the Tron action figures off my desk and onto the shelf behind me, because I'm constantly kind of hiding how much Tron paraphernalia I'm surrounded with all the time. So I'm looking forward to kind of retheming my office to kind of show off all my vintage Tron toys that I've got. But yeah, it's amazing for us. There are a lot of people on the team who've been fans of Tron since they were kids, myself included. I'm a massive Disney fan in general. So yeah, just kind of getting that insight, getting that just stuff like getting to go to the Disney kind of archives and look at all of those resources. Lots and lots of pictures of guys dressed in 2010 jeans holding up like motorcycle jackets and stuff. So we can go, okay, that's exactly how that texture looks, you know. So it's just been like, it's just a nerd's kind of paradise.
Yeah. Oh, and Flynn's Arcade. We went to Flynn's Arcade.
We did go to Flynn's Arcade, yes, which is now a nice restaurant. That was good. Yes.
It was very pleasant.
I'm trying to keep the nerd inside of me bottled up right now so that I don't nerd out right now, but it definitely sounds like a match made in heaven, Disney heaven, that you all were able to kind of merge. And honestly, I want to thank you.
It's called Magic Kingdom, by the way. It's
Magic
Disney
Kingdom.
Heaven. Yeah, it's Disney Magic Kingdom. Yeah.
All right. Excuse me. Actually, you just gave me an actually moment there.
I did.
Mike, Heidi, I want to thank you both again for sharing with us a little bit more about Tron Identity. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hop on my old light cycle again and zoom on out of here. Now, let's take one more look at that teaser.
The only thing better than listening to IGN podcasts is watching them. Luckily, all your favorite weekly shows are here on IGN One. Whether you're chasing the latest Xbox releases with Unlocked, looking for your PlayStation fix with Beyond, tracking everything coming to Switch with Nintendo Voice Chat, or catching up on this week's gaming news with GameScoop, we've got you covered. Check it out. Tune in every weekday at 5 p.m. for the best gaming coverage right here on IGN One.
IGN State of Streaming is back.
Sounds like the Solar Opposites are going to be having some fun this year.
On Monday, September 19th, we're kicking off a full week of coverage live and in studio with special guests like Justin Roiland.
Hey, what's up? We're here at State of Streaming.
Exclusive new looks at shows and insights from the creatives behind them. It's everything you need to know about streaming. It's IGN's State of Streaming. Everybody loves watching a speedrun of their favorite game, but what if you got a chance to peek into the mind of the developers behind those games as they watch their hard work get completely destroyed right in front of them?
What is happening right now?
That's exactly what happens on every episode of Devs React to Speedruns. We invite you to ride along with the developers as they watch, react, and enjoy some of the craziest gameplay by the most skilled speedrunners on the planet. Tune in every Saturday for a brand new episode.
If you're not following IGN on social media, what are you waiting for? We're constantly updating our feeds to bring you the latest news, gameplay, custom original content, memes, the best user-generated videos and art, and a whole lot more. Be part of the conversation throughout the year. Follow IGN on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, and Snapchat.
I really hope you all have a screen protector and a phone case at the ready because Marvel World of Heroes is about to send you out into the world with your smartphone for an all-new AR game unlike anything you've seen in the Marvel Universe. And here to talk to me about it is none other than Niantic's very own executive producer, Phil Hong. How are you, Phil?
I'm great, thank you.
Yeah, I'm super excited for this. So, you all are no strangers to AR games with the ongoing success of Pokemon Go. So I'm kind of curious, how would you describe World of Heroes and this particular premise?
Well, so for Marvel World of Heroes, I think what players can expect is the best of what we've done on Pokemon Go. What we do at Niantic is we converge the digital world with the physical world to deliver like awesome location-based experiences through augmented reality and whatnot. But here's the awesome kicker. We're going to give you the opportunity to play as you. So in Marvel World of Heroes, you are the superhero. And so that means, you create your own avatar and you create your own identity, you have your own origin story and all that. And, and we're going to combine that together and send you out in the world to go explore your neighborhood, go on patrols, and team up with Marvel characters that are out there waiting for you to go on epic quests and battles and whatnot. And so it's really, Marvel World of Heroes, if I could sum it up, is just like that marriage between all the characters and stories we love of Marvel, with the awesome outdoor social experiences that Niantic delivers, that we pride ourselves in delivering.
So yeah, let's dive a little bit deeper into that. With us being able to create our own characters, will there be like classifications? Like, can I say like, Akeem is a mutant from the sewers? I don't know where mutants are from, but how does the classification work? As far as that is concerned?
Sure. So it starts with avatar creation, right? So the game is going to start there where and I'm really proud of our avatar creator. It allows for a broad diversity of skin tones, body shapes, sizes, and outfits and stuff, right? I can't say that we capture everything under the sun, but we do a really good job. And our aspiration is certainly to make sure that everyone feels represented in this game. Because if you're going to make a game where you play as you, we got to make sure that we can, actually have you, have the tools where you can, represent yourself in this game. So that's one. But then, as you progress through the game, as you take, unlock more quests and gear, you get more powerful, and then through those choices and through those kind of accomplishments, you get to start to custom tailor your hero into even something greater and badder and awesome that you can imagine.
So now let's talk a little bit about the combat system. So I create this character, this avatar that looks just like me. I'm assuming I can team up with some of my friends and then go out there and essentially join forces, let's say with Spider-Man, to take on what type of foes would we be able to take on with joining forces with these superheroes?
So there's something really cool about our team that I want to talk about, which was we happen to have a lot of people on the team that are not just like Niantics, but also they were part of the group that made Marvel Strike Force. As well as myself, my background is I worked on Marvel Future Fight. And so, we want to definitely draw from that and sort of the combat RPG elements that we all know really well. But it's not just about that. What we also know from the Niantic side of this, it's all about what does that real world have to offer? What does that, if you're out and about and you're at the shopping mall, is there maybe a hidden Hydra base here? That we need to go find as a group, infiltrate, clear out. So it's all about kind of planting the seeds of that fiction as you go about, playing the game, where you'll have combat that you're familiar with from other Marvel games, but they're going to overlay it in the real world with that sort of that added layer of fiction that you also combine with your friends as you guys go out and you'd be like, okay, let's go take on this challenge or whatnot.
Now, you just made me think of a question that's not on these cards.
Ooh.
I'm thinking about how important in the Marvel Universe New York is.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of curious, since this is augmented reality, will we see certain iconic places show up, like the Fantastic Four building, or maybe Spider-Man's home? What type of iconic things can we see? Let's say if we were to live in New York.
Sure. I mean, that's what's so fun about the Marvel IP is that it takes place in the real world, right? So we are in Manhattan, we are or Malibu if you're Tony Stark, right?
Yeah.
Or anywhere it might be. And I think it's important that when we talk about, at least when we think about augmented reality, we're not just thinking about camera pass-through. We're thinking about location awareness and knowing where you are and serving up special quests to you, special encounters to you based on the fact that, yeah, maybe you are around the corner from Miles' house, or maybe you are on the corner from potentially Avengers Tower, or those might be. We know that, and we want to custom serve those experiences to you. So I think that level of like kind of location awareness and contextual awareness is first and foremost the way we think about augmented reality. That being said, we're certainly going to leverage like where we are now with camera pass-through AR, things that we can do, whether it's going to be lighting up, buildings that you say perhaps, or unlocking gear and making that a surprise special moment, or running into other Marvel characters in the world. Those are all things that we're constantly like experimenting with, prototyping, and trying to find like that right thing. And you can imagine, our roadmap is going to be full of really fulfilling that fantasy.
Yeah, and one of the things that you all did so well with Pokemon Go is like all these special events that would take place where it would be like, I know here in the office, we back in 2019 when we were all fully in the office, like we would go on these expeditions at lunchtime to go and catch a certain Pokemon that we knew was at a certain location. Can we expect like a similar treatment in this game as well as it continues to grow? Oh,
100%. I mean, I'm so glad you asked that, because that is, to me, really the core of the experience we're trying to deliver. We're trying to make sure that we're delivering on a mantra that is kind of settling in with us, which is we're all heroes.
Yeah.
And we're more powerful when we're together. And those social experiences and those outdoor experiences are so powerful, and it's, I think, kind of exactly what we all need.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so it's a message of optimism as well as a opportunity of social gameplay that we're really excited about, that we've delivered on, countless Go Fests. And I'm really excited to be, delivering that here in full cosplay, for Marvel World of Heroes.
So this is probably going to span like the entire universe of Marvel. What superheroes from the Marvel universe can you tease or just flat out tell us are going to show up?
Where are my Marvel handlers?
Oh, it's one of those things? Okay, all right.
I think I could say this, which is we're a Marvel Universe game, so we're not exclusive to one family. Avengers, X-Men, Spider-Man family, all that you can expect. But most importantly, it's not just about, with those characters that'll show up in the game. It's like, how are they partnering with you? How are you becoming more like your own superhero in that space? So
now, one of the things that, like, with the Marvel Universe, there's lots of things going on both on the big screen and the small screen. So I'm kind of curious, will World of Heroes kind of tie into any of those events, and like kind of have like events that kind of tie into what's happening on the TV shows that we see on Disney Plus or we see in the theaters?
Well, I think the way, all the Marvel games kind of roll is they all exist within their own space, in their own little multiverse, so to speak. And that's kind of where Marvel World of Heroes sits. But we also have this interesting twist to it, too, which is we are going to be leaning into the multiverse. And we are going to be leveraging the fact that you can play and unlock other worlds as part of the kind of, as part of the threat that we are experiencing in World of Heroes, that we all have to kind of collectively battle back.
Thank you so much, Phil and Niantic Games, and you guys at home. Now, I want y'all to let us know what you think of World of Heroes down in the comments section, and don't forget to follow and subscribe to IGN wherever you like to watch.
I'm Ryan McCaffrey here, joined by Amy Henning along with Mark. They're from the Skydance team working on a still unnamed, as of this moment, recording this, and as of the trailer you've all just seen, Marvel game project. Amy, Mark, welcome. Mark already practicing his we'll tell you when we tell you, right?
How much dirt can I fit in this box?
Yeah,
Let's see.
It's fine. We're
gonna have to be patient on some things.
Yeah, the name will come when the name is ready to go. But the trailer certainly gives us some interesting things to think about with regard to this project. We are seemingly splitting time between World War II-ish Paris and Wakanda. We have the Black Panther. We have Captain America. We have battling the forces of Hydra here. So it already feels like it's a very outside of the box compared to the typical generic superhero game, and I mean that in a very, very good way. So
that'd be a good title.
Yeah,
outside the box.
We can fit that. Yeah. Where did the idea here come from? I know you're not going to get into too many details as to what exactly the game is, but this concept, where did it come from?
Yeah. Well, I'll jump in, and then Mark can chime in too. When we talked to Marvel initially, we wanted to come up with something original, tell an original story, and not feel like we were cribbing from something that already existed, although taking inspiration from all kinds of sources, right? And we loved the idea of doing kind of a team up, in kind of the classic Marvel sense, where you take characters who haven't necessarily been in a story together, and then also to set it in a time that would be unexpected, get out of sort of the contemporary time period. And so using that as our sort of problem space, we talked about like what characters would be cool, to what sort of mashup would be the most surprising and yield the most fun. And this is kind of where we landed.
Yeah, there's something so wonderfully fertile about this particular point in time in both Steve Rogers' life and in the sort of ongoing continuity of Wakanda. Because Wakanda, loves being, as we've seen in lots of iterations, these sort of cloistered nation state that doesn't interact with the rest of the world. But we're dealing with World War II, which is a war that kind of touched everywhere. And so what would the response be in a place like Wakanda to Hydra and Germany and Nazis and giant global conflict? That seemed like a really, really interesting place to be. And, Steve Rogers in his time in World War II, it's been very sort of needle dropper within, both the MCU, definitely less so in the comic books, but it was just a really rich place to play in the, who is this kid at this point? He's probably still just 19 years old, before he goes into his deep freeze. So who is he and what is he about? And what does he have left to learn over the course of his time?
Mm-hmm. And how do these two characters who are strangers to each other yet have so much in common as being both sort of symbols and protectors of their countries? How do they collide? And how does that relationship begin and how does it form? Has been a lot of the basis of our story discussions.
I mean, I can't help but wonder if maybe the two of you have been watching some What If? I don't know. I definitely thought about What If when I saw this trailer. Am I on the right track at all?
Well, I mean, there's an aspect of that. I think that, Marvel would probably, qualify that by saying, What If is a little bit more of mixing up the elements even more than we're doing. It's, I would call it a little bit more of a team up. And even then, I don't know whether that phrase would be blessed by Marvel, but this idea of, taking characters that we're familiar with, and obviously with Azuri being, T'Challa's grandfather, less so. He hasn't really been touched on much. But, we're familiar with Black Panther, and then, and like I said, kind of like colliding and combining them in ways that yield, fresh new stuff. But look, yeah, there's a what if quality to the thing, right? Like, which is like, what if we're in World War II and these characters, ran into each other, in the midst of this worldwide conflict, and what would happen?
Yeah, it's like the what if question is actually, what if T'Challa was not the first Black Panther that Steve Rogers met? And then how does that add context to, even though, the what happens in the MCU, what happens in the game, all of that stuff is just mushy and gooey and a little bit amorphous, but there is the feeling of, all right, now, if this came before that, how does that impact and affect our, as an audience, as a player, view of that particular moment?
Well, I know we don't know, again, too much about the game yet, but I have to wonder, just from your sort of hero shot there at the end of the trailer, cooperative play going to factor into this video game?
Narratively, yes. Gameplay mechanics wise, no. That's not the intent. But look, I mean, we experienced something partly intentionally and partly by a happy accident with Uncharted, where we found out that for people playing our game, it was really a shared living room experience, and it was because that they were invested in the story and the characters, and they felt collaboratively engaged with what was going on, even if their hand wasn't on the controller. And so part of the design here is to sort of tap into that experience. And so, is it literally a co-op game in a technical sense? No. But is it a sort of a shared experience and even sort of a collaborative experience? And, part of what we're doing is encouraging people who don't consider themselves, traditional gamers, feel just as invited and welcomed into the experience, even in a hands-on way, than the gamers in the household. And so that's always been part of the goal. But yeah, I mean, look, I could see looking at the key art and going, this must be a co-op game, but it really is about this ensemble. You've got, two supers and two people who are not superheroes, coming from these two different worlds, each with different kind of viewpoints and facets on this experience. And so it's not even just about Cap and Panther. It's about Nanali, who's from Wakanda as well, and it's about Gabriel Jones and his experience as, the only black soldier in the Howling Commandos in World War II. And so, it's a really interesting concoction, of characters and experience.
Along those lines, I'd love to hear from each of you on this. What appeals to you as game designers about the Marvel universe? I think Amy, you kind of just started down that road a little bit there, but I'm kind of curious to continue down that path. There's obviously it's a large canvas to paint with. So as game designers, what's appealing to you about this universe?
Sure, I'll start and then I'll let Mark talk about his feelings. Well, for me, I mean, I feel like I kind of have a wheelhouse, both in terms of the media that I enjoy and then what I've created, which is a little bit in this sort of pulpy, two-fisted kind of romantic adventure. That's my sweet spot and my happy place. And so Marvel then is, completely up my alley as far as that goes. The fact that there's so much heart and humor and that fundamentally, these stories are not about power fantasies. They're about characters, struggling with, power and responsibility and their personal problems. And that's a great tapestry for telling a story. And it's also an interesting tapestry for coming up with game mechanics that feel like, again, our goal is to let players inhabit these characters, both in terms of the sort of vicarious, fun and of choreographing their mechanics, but also, who they are as people. And so doing it as an interactive experience, it's very, very fun. I mean, I think people feel very, personally engaged versus sort of passively engaged that way. Yeah, Mark?
Yeah, I mean, I think Amy hit it right on the head with the word vicarious. I have been reading comic books for as long as I've been reading. And I think that there is something at the very core, which is, boy, would it be great to be these people. Boy, would it be amazing to have this power, to have this skill, to have this grit. What can often be derided as the power fantasy mechanics of comic book storytelling are not, it's not an idle thing. The ability to want to be the things that you play or the things that you read. And then this is a way to actually make that feel tangible and real and vicarious. And I come to it purely from a story perspective. I can speak to game mechanics only as much as I've played a bunch of games. But for me, it was trying to figure out a way to tell the best version of a story featuring these characters that surprised you, that thrilled you, that enchanted you, that frightened you, but also that gave you that feeling of what it might be like to be Black Panther, what it might be like to be Steve Rogers, and that's a really powerful, it's a powerful drug to step into those shoes or those capes and get to do that stuff.
Yeah. Well, Mark, I'll stick with you for this one. Are there, and yes, I am doing my little journalistic attempt to try and get a little something out of you guys about this game. Are there genres that we've seen there are a number of Marvel games out there, particularly more in recent years. There's some really good ones. There's some ones that maybe we wished were a little better. But are there genres that should it be done in the Marvel universe, game genres that haven't been done yet that you guys would like to see happen?
Give me a great side scroller. Give me Prince of Persia in the game space.
I play that.
I think that I know, right? Like, I think that Marvel as an umbrella, the thing about the MCU that makes it work is not that any one particular movie is good or bad or indifferent, but it's this overall sense of possibility that the entire MCU has, where you can contain movies that are heist movies and war movies and spy movies and political thriller movies and dumb movies with dance-offs at the end, and all of that stuff can be somehow tethered together. And I don't see any reason why the Marvel universe in games couldn't also contain that level of fun. Like, there should be a Ratchet and Clank in the Marvel game space, because there's no reason why you couldn't have that. There's no reason you couldn't have Groot's Adventures that feels like a Mario game. I will happily take that money if you'd like to offer me that money. But I think that's the elasticity of the brand and how the player and the audience, what they expect from it, is so rich and so wide that I don't think there's anything you could do within it that would somehow feel alien to it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Amy, I'll finish with you here. What at the end of the day, again, we know so little about the game so far, we're at the beginning of the journey with it, but when this thing finally comes out, what do you hope that players take away from it?
Well, I hope that we stick the landing on what it is that we're trying to do. And that is, we talk about our pillars, in terms of developing the game. And some of those you could probably guess at is that, it wants to be, focused on story and a character-driven story. It wants to be cinematic in its presentation and come as close to feeling like you're in this immersive, cinematic experience. It wants to have like best-in-class visual fidelity. But the thing that I feel like, even as a gamer and a long-time gamer, I feel like I've been missing is some of the inviting qualities that games have moved away from. It's become kind of an exclusive hobby where, if you're not an experienced gamer who can kind of hang with all the difficulty and complexity, then you're kind of like walled off from the experience, which is really a shame, because here we are with a franchise, and an IP partner where, it's one of the most demographically widest appealing characters and stories, and we want to invite everybody in. We want everybody who loves the comics and the movies and the TV shows to like engage with this game. And so one of the main things that we're doing to kind of answer both your previous question and this one is like rethinking some of the dogma around game design about difficulty and mastery and competition and stress that comes with a lot of these games, and getting back to a place where the game sort of meets you where you are, and it's intuitive and responsive, and some of that vicariousness that we were talking about comes out of the fact that the things that you're doing with the controllers feels like the things that the characters are doing, that anybody can pick it up and play it because it's actually really like common sense and intuitive. But it's also super deep for longtime gamers like ourselves who can look under the hood and figure out, how to deepen their own experience and be rewarded for sort of skillful execution of the mechanics. But ultimately, we want to replicate that like exhilarating feeling of the comics and films and the TV shows, but with your hands on the controller and feeling like you're the one choreographing the action and all the things you intend, the game like delivers in spades, as opposed to feeling like you're kind of having to get good and crawl through a whole bunch of complexity to get there. All of that stuff can separate you from the flow state of the experience. So interesting, a lot of our inspirations have come from unexpected sources like rhythm games and VR experiences and even mobile games where there's less of a divide between what you're doing and sort of the tactile experience of what you're doing, and and on the controls of what you're doing in the game, and that can get you into this really immersive flow state where you're kind of like, now you're having this this panther simulator, this cap simulator, where it's like you really can immerse yourself in the character. That's our goal, to make it like thrilling and vicarious and invite everybody into that experience.
Amy, it is so good to have you back in the director's chair for a big AAA project. Amy, Mark, thank you so much. We will look forward to learning so much more about this still untitled Marvel project.
Thank you so much, Ryan.
Thanks.
Greetings, true believers. Now it's time to assemble your very best deck and traverse the multiverse in Marvel's adrenaline-fueled strategic card battler, Marvel Snap. And here to tell us all about the collectible card game is Ben Brode. How are you, Ben?
I'm doing fantastic.
I'm so happy to have you here. Oh, snap. We have a lot to talk about, all right? We have so much to talk about. Now, what do you think it is? First off, right off the top, what do you think it is about the Marvel Universe that kind of lends itself well to this form of gameplay?
Well, the thing I love most about Marvel is the iconic heroes and villains. And with Marvel Snap, we really focused in on that part of the Marvel Universe. So every card represents a hero and villain, and then you get to traverse the locations that are iconic in the Marvel Universe. It really is a perfect fit for the Marvel Universe.
Now, speaking of the game, so a Marvel Snap deck contains 12 cards and lasts 6 turns.
Yep.
And I want you to can you break down like the overall tactical choices a player can make from there?
Yeah, so at the start of the game, there's 3 locations, and your job is to win all 3 locations. And you're playing cards that you got to choose which of these 3 locations am I going to invest my resources in, and which am I just going to say, look, you're going to win those ones. Because if you win 2 out of 3 of those locations by the end of the game, then you've won the game. The game's only 6 turns long, so while you're thinking about what you want to do on your turn, I'm thinking about what I want to do on my turn, and we're playing simultaneously. We reveal our choices to each other simultaneously. So the game's super fast. 6 turns is not that long. The game's over in like 3 to 5 minutes.
Whoa, that's nuts. So what's like the overall goal a player has, like when they are on the battlefield? Is it to win those 2 games? And
yeah, so each location does something different. Each of them has like a unique effect, and every game, the locations you see are totally new and different. And so even if you're used to playing the game a bunch, every time you play, you're faced with new strategic challenges to try and figure out, okay, how am I going to win the game at the Baxter building in Nova Roma and Xandar? That's a totally unique set of locations. How am I going to use my cards to defeat my opponent's deck in this new way? But yeah, just play your cards in a way that ideally want to get just a little bit more power than your opponent at the 2 locations that matter most to you. That's going to win you that game.
Now I'm looking at the decks right here. We have just like a variety of different characters that span the entire Marvel universe. So can you kind of describe like what type of characters are we going to see? Are we going to see like the entire multiverse, characters that we may not be too familiar with? Look at that Venom looks very interesting. Like I'm so like the art direction. Like you all just went wild with this. Like, can you describe like the art direction?
We have absolutely incredible artists on this game, and it does span the entire Marvel multiverse. Not only do we have like every character you can imagine from Marvel, we have characters that you may never have heard of, like the Infinite or Leech or some kind of
I've heard of the Infinite. How dare you?
But we also are exploring way beyond the kind of the core Marvel universe into different multiverses. We have tons of these variants, which are either maybe different costumes for characters you love, different art styles of those characters you love, or those characters from kind of what if experiences. What if Cosmo was infected by the Venom symbiote, right? We have all that kind of stuff going on as well.
Yeah, because I noticed the Guardians of the Galaxy. There was like a 16-bit versions of them. So that's just like a variant of the same character. Now, does it play different in the game?
No, it's just a cosmetic change. So you can collect. We really, when I was a kid, we used to go to the comic book store and get packs of Marvel trading cards. And I had different ones than my brothers or my friends, and we would trade. And I loved the experience of just having a unique collection that nobody else had. And so with Marvel Snap, we really wanted to do the same thing. You don't get all the cards in Marvel Snap. You slowly earn the cards over time, and you also earn these cosmetic variants of the cards. And so my collection is going to look really different than your collection. Your cards look different. You might have different cards than me. You might be able to build different decks than I do. That's core to the experience of Marvel Snap.
Now, you're no stranger to card battlers. You worked on Hearthstone. I'm kind of curious, how much influence did your work on Hearthstone have on Marvel Snap?
Well, I learned a ton about making card games through my career, and we really wanted to make a game that was easy to play for a bunch of people who've never tried card games before. It's really rewarding to be able to grow the card game genre and introduce like a ton of new people to this card. I love card games. I've been playing card games for 20 plus years. And I think Marvel Snap is the kind of game that even if you've never played a card game ever before, it's so easy to learn. It's so fast. It's exactly the kind of game I love to make.
Yeah, not only that, I feel like if you have like a very, like an appreciation for just like the Marvel universe and Marvel comics, I feel like you're gonna love this game. You also there's voice acting as well in the game, and when you throw down a card, there's special effects that occur that honestly, when I first saw it, I'm gonna be very honest with you, Ben, I was like, okay, I'm not super enthusiastic about card games. When I saw Marvel Snap, I was like, I'm in. I am in. Like there's no way you're taking me out of this. I'm throwing down a couple of cards because I really want to participate in this. And this, I feel like this is definitely going to be like, this might be some people's like first foray into this genre of gaming. And I'm super excited because it's attached to an IP that's been a part of my life for so many years.
Yeah, it is so much fun to work on a Marvel game. It's, you know,
describe that. How, because when marrying these two things, like your love of card games and your love of Marvel, like what's that experience been like for you?
It's been incredible. So when we first set out on this journey, we're a new company. This is our first game, and we were just so fortunate that Marvel took a chance on us and really believed in us and gave us this opportunity to work play in the Marvel playground. And there's something really fun about taking a Marvel character who you just know from your childhood and trying to come up with a card design that really captures the essence of that character. So when we were designing Nightcrawler, you could play to one location, but then you could bamf him over to a different location later in the game. You can teleport somewhere else. It really feels like Nightcrawler, and it's a ton of strategic depth to try and figure out, fake out your opponent and pretend you're going to go somewhere and then go to a different location later on in the game. And it's Rogue, could steal the power from another card. Gambit throws a card from your hand and destroys an enemy card on the other side. And it's so much fun because everyone knows these characters. Everyone knows what they do. And then seeing them in card form is just a treat.
Yeah, that's funny. You can get kind of meta with Gambit because he throws cards, and he's now in card form throwing cards.
Yeah, he's my favorite Marvel character because of the cards.
Yeah, that's insane. I really want to see how Gambit plays out because of that. Because it's like, will he throw himself? Because he is in essence a card, so he could technically throw himself.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Now, so as far as like updates are concerned, like how often can like gamers expect to kind of see like new releases rolling out?
Well, we want Marvel Snap to be the card game that releases content faster than any other card game. So we want to release a new location every single week. And new locations really change up the game because they introduce new rules and new challenges to solve. You got to build your deck a little differently to take advantage of today's hot location. And we want to release a new card every week and have something new for players to collect and new deck ideas that are percolating. It really changes the meta of which decks people are playing. But it's important, I think, that games feel fresh and exciting all the time. And that's like top of mind for us on Marvel Snap.
Yeah, and honestly, I feel like Marvel Snap is super duper refreshing. One last question before we roll out. I got to ask you this. Marvel Snap, where did the name come from? Is it a Thanos reference? I'm kind of curious. Where did the name come from?
Yeah, we love the reference to the broader Marvel IP that way, but also Snap is such a fast game. You could play really quickly. We love the visceral sound of the word, and it's also a snap to learn how to play. It's so easy to learn. It's the best card game to try if you've never tried a card game before.
Well, Ben, I'm already in, and I want to thank you for sitting down and talking to me about it. You're making me want to throw my card. I just threw my card. Look at that, everybody. Look at that. Ben, thank you so much for joining us. And you at home, let us know what you think down in the comment section. And don't forget to follow and subscribe to IGN wherever you like to watch.
Tune into IGN1 on your smart TVs for the latest news on your favorite releases, gameplay exclusives, and all the entertainment you can handle.
Cinefix on IGN1, your friendly Friday night home for film fanaticism.
You're watching The Weekly Fix, ready to fill you in on anything you may have missed in the world of gaming and entertainment.
Welcome to Should I Play This? This is what to watch here on IGN1.
Find it all in one place for free on IGN1.
They turned into a network. Who knew?
IGN State of Streaming is back.
Sounds like the Solar Opposites are going to be having some fun this year.
On Monday, September 19th, we're kicking off a full week of coverage live and in studio with special guests like Justin Roiland.
Hey, what's up? We're here at State of Streaming.
Exclusive new looks at shows and insights from the creatives behind them. It's everything you need to know about streaming. It's IGN's State of Streaming.
You're a busy gamer with plenty to play. Not a lot of downtime, but you still want to keep up with the latest gaming news? Fret not. No matter where you like to play, PC, PlayStation, Nintendo, Xbox, I've got the headlines you need to know about. When Half-Life 3 is announced, it'll be on the Daily Fix. When the Switch Pro is announced, you'll be the first to know. And when that big game you just can't wait for is delayed, yeah, I'll have that news too. The Daily Fix, with me, Nars, weekdays only on IGN.
If you're not following IGN on social media, what are you waiting for? We're constantly updating our feeds to bring you the latest news, gameplay, custom original content, memes, the best user-generated videos and art, and a whole lot more. Be part of the conversation throughout the year. Follow IGN on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, and Snapchat.
What a delightfully magical day we are having today at IGN, and it's about to get a bit more dreamy. Joining me to talk about the newly released game Disney Dreamlight Valley, please welcome lead producer at Gameloft, Maner Cassette. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you for joining me.
Hello everybody. Hello. Happy to be here with you all and be talking about Disney Dreamlight Valley.
Yes, absolutely. Now so Disney Dreamlight Valley is considered kind of like a mixture between like a life sim and an adventure game. I want to know, what was the inspiration for this particular project?
So the inspiration for the project was a mix of different stuff. We wanted to, at Gameloft, we were used to work with Disney, but we wanted to create something new, something that will shine a new light, I would say, on this character we all grew up with, you know. We wanted to answer some questions such as, what does it mean to be the neighbor of Moana? What does it mean to be living alongside Wally, for example? And it can be a fun question, but like, how would I be? Who would I be if I was a Disney character and I was living with this world? So with this question in mind, the obvious choice for us that came was to create some sort of hybrid between life simulation game and adventure game where we can live in a dream world and experience really, really cool stories. That's where Disney shines, so we wanted to make sure our game also shine with great stories.
Absolutely. And speaking of shining, obviously my question was going to be, are you going to be expanding the roster, considering that we see so many iconic Disney and Pixar characters, but we just saw that now Toy Story 2 is getting its own adventure. Talk to me about how it was incorporating and expanding on what you currently have with Dreamlight.
Yeah, so as you know, there are many Disney movies, Disney Pixar movies that are great with great characters. So it's almost an unlimited source of creativity for us. And we have many plans to like expand the roster and add additional characters, additional stories also. So many plans. One of the main plans is you have a big castle in the middle of the valley, which is the Dream Castle, which have magical doors. And behind each door, there is one Disney realm. So it's a little bubble inspired by a Disney Pixar movie where you will meet this character, have fun, solve some mysteries and some puzzle. And when you finish, they come into your valley and have their own little story arc in the valley also. So we have an unlimited amount of potential with Disney and Pixar movie, and we have an unlimited amount of doors in the Disney Dreamlight Castle.
Oh my gosh. And it's so, when you say unlimited, I'm just thinking about all the crafting, all the customization layouts for the neighborhood in Dreamlight Valley. Talk to me about, obviously you can make thousands of items and you can decorate your home however you like, but tell me a little bit about the Touch of Magic tool and what can fans expect in the game?
Sure, of course. So at day one of early access, we have around 1,000 of furniture and decoration items for your house or your valley outside. We have around 1,000 item of clothing item or like accessories you can put on your avatar. But if that is not enough, you can create your own using the Touch of Magic tool. So it's an incredible tool where you can basically put motifs on your dress, on your suit, on your backpack, and make it really unique. Change the color, put several motifs that you unlock by playing the game, etc., to really create your own accessories, clothing item, and other stuff like that. Really cool.
Oh my gosh, I was able to play this game and I was having so much fun with it. I think probably my favorite feature is the in-game camera by far. And I think it's so cool that you can be able, my first picture was actually me and Mickey chilling on my new freshly bought couch in my house. But talk to us a little bit about how did you decide to develop this feature, and what are some cherishable moments we can expect in the game with some of these characters?
So the camera tool actually is really useful because it is one of the best way to seize and remember the life moments in Disney Dreamlight Valley, because it's a live sim, so a live sim adventure. So you have all these characters that are experiencing some stories, but they also have their own little behavior, their own little agenda, and they have their own little life, which result in some really unique moments. You know, like you can just be walking around and seeing Wally sitting around on a bench and just sit next to him and take a selfie together, or just having Moana dancing on the beach, which is super poetic also, or you can just see Goofy fishing, and all that can be taken in picture and shared. And if you liked the camera tool at day one of early access, you will love it also in the next update, where we will make it even better with additional feature to make it even more cool in terms of picture, filters, and stuff like that.
That is so cool. Okay, now I'm really excited. Now I'm even more excited. And you were talking a little bit about how each character has like their own schedules. While playing the game is actually tied to your current time zone. So it becomes morning when it's morning and night when it's night. Obviously, talk to me a little bit about how was the development in like each character's having their own schedule, and should we be mindful to go after certain characters for like opportunities to happen in the day or just at night?
Yeah, so we have what we call a schedule for each character that reflect their personality. So it is unique for each one, and it is based on what they will do if they were in this kind of dream world. So we, for sure, like they go to sleep, they wake up, etc. But they also have unique things. For example, Goofy loves fishing, and he will be one of the characters that will fish the most, I would say, in the game. You have other characters that have their own little, we call that way of life attitude, where they walk around the valley and they just have fun. So Donald, for example, is super fun because he can just like fall down on the ground and just being super hungry and just continue his journey. But like it's really fun. It all depends of like the time of day, their behavior, their motivation. It's really depending of many factors. Even the customization of your valley will impact that. So for example, you put a nice decoration in your garden. Some characters will decide to go and see this decoration or sit on a bench that you placed, etc. So you can actually affect their behavior also.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. I love that dynamic. Now, Scrooge McDuck obviously has a store full of items. Will players be able to see limited or seasonal items to pick up on the store? Is that something that we're going to look forward to?
Yeah, so the Scrooge store is changing every day. So every day you can go back and see new stuff. So it's really cool. It's a good way for you to just change the things you have and dress differently or customize your house. You can customize everything in the game. And on top of that, we also have like what we call the star path, which is a progression system that where you can do some mission to unlock new cosmetic item like decoration or clothing item, and that also is seasonal. There will be one every couple of months with exclusive item each time. Yeah.
Now, Dreamlight has many different realms. We have The Lion King, we have Moana, but are we going to be seeing any more unannounced Disney characters showing up beyond Toy Story 2, and how often would we be able to see them?
So, big moment. Today, I can confirm that we will see really soon, and even before the Toy Story realm, a well-known lion, Scar from The Lion King, coming to the valley really soon, and not alone. He will play a key role in the main story of the game. So with this update will come Scar and the continuation of the main story with a big plot twist that I cannot talk about. But this is super cool, and it's not only just new story mission, Scar, but also a deeper sandbox with like a new way to experience the gardening actually, which will make it even more interesting to play. So that's really soon, even before Toy Story.
Thank you so much, Mania. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm super excited to see more of Dreamlight. Thank you for dropping by.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And that is a wrap on our D23 gaming stream coverage. Thanks for watching. Which of these games are you most hyped for? Let us know in the comments below. And hey, keep it right here on IGN. Next week, we're kicking off the State of Streaming 2022, a week-long event with special guests, reviews, and deep dives into all things streaming. So make sure to follow and subscribe to IGN wherever you like to watch. I'm your host, Nars, and remember to always stay fabulous.
The only thing better than listening to IGN podcasts is watching them. Luckily, all your favorite weekly shows are here on IGN 1. Whether you're chasing the latest Xbox releases with Unlocked, looking for your PlayStation fix with Beyond, tracking everything coming to Switch with Nintendo Voice Chat, or catching up on this week's gaming news with GameScoop, we've got you covered. Check it out. Tune in every weekday at 5 p.m. for the best gaming coverage right here on IGN 1.
IGN State of Streaming is back.
Sounds like the Solar Opposites are going to be having some fun this year.
On Monday, September 19th, we're kicking off a full week of coverage live and in studio with special guests like Justin Roiland.
Hey, what's up? We're here at State of Streaming.
Exclusive new looks at shows and insights from the creatives behind them. It's everything you need to know about streaming. It's IGN's State of Streaming.
Everybody loves watching a speedrun of their favorite game, but what if you got a chance to peek into the mind of the developers behind those games as they watch their hard work get completely destroyed right in front of them?
What is happening right now?
That's exactly what happens on every episode of Devs React to Speedruns. We invite you to ride along with the developers as they watch, react, and enjoy some of the craziest gameplay by the most skilled speedrunners on the planet. Tune in every Saturday for a brand new episode.
If you're not following IGN on social media, what are you waiting for? We're constantly updating our feeds to bring you the latest news, gameplay, custom original content, memes, the best user-generated videos and art, and a whole lot more. Be part of the conversation throughout the year. Follow IGN on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, and Snapchat.